Hey guys, ScrawtVermillion here, and we're back at it again with another Street Fighter 6 video. I've been playing this game ever since it came out, and it's been such a interesting experience for me as someone who comes from anime fighting games, especially with the Melty blood. A game that is known for its fast-paced action, insane offense, just a little bit more low-key, a little bit more about the little interactions here and there. I've been sticking it out with Luke, and I've learned a lot about Street Fighter. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I wish I knew before starting Street Fighter. These are things that nobody really talks about. So the first thing I want to talk about is hit confirming normals. You can visually hit confirm attacks in this game. So my character, Luke, has two good examples in this target combo and this target combo. These, you don't have to commit to the full target combo. So if you block it, obviously, if you see, this is unsafe, so you kind of don't want to do that. So, same with this. The way it's helped me a lot was this cancel timing display. At first, when I was missing on training mode, I was like, what the hell is this? I think people always use action timing display. This little bar that you see below, I think you put in here. And this tells you how much you have to cancel a normal into the next action. I don't like the head thing, I think it's a little intrusive, but I really like the cancel timing window display. Definitely use this. Use it to like practice these sick hit confirms. Tips on how to hit confirm properly. Because in a real match, you're not gonna have access to this. I am looking at my opponent, and I am looking at my opponent's life bar. If I see my opponent's life bar turning yellow, they got hit. What does that tell me? Oh, mash that medium punch. A lot of people kind of autopilot their option to say, oh, I'm going to go for medium punch into throw regardless of what happens. And maybe the opponent got hit, counter hit, and you know, they could have gotten somewhat hit by force so much. You know, so rather than doing that autopilot stuff, we're kind of gonna sit back and look at the opponent's model, which can be used to hit confirm. Just little hit sparks that you see, for example, on counter hits. They're there for a reason. They're not just fancy. They are your friend. Use them. The next step, and this is a killer for beginner players, has to be with anti-air with DP. So this is if your character has a Shoryuken, a DP for an anti-air option. Super important. There are different types of DP. Very important that you practice the traditional, you know, this, very traditional, maybe, you know, you're here on the mid-screen, throwing some fireballs, and they jump at you, right? This one is the easy example. Make sure that you got this one down. What we're trying to do here is we are trying to react to the jump. We're not looking for them to jump. We are playing the game, and then they jump. You can DP pretty late, right? But it's not just about that. Obviously, we got our next step, which is gonna be the crosscut DP. There's many crosscut DP guides out there. I'm not gonna give you a detailed guide on it, but you know, this is also a thing that you can do. Pretty strong. So in this game, Street Fighter, I think ever since Ultra Street Fighter 4, they added some shortcuts for the Shoryuken motion. So if you look at my left side of the screen, I'm gonna hold down and this, and down forward and down forward. If you may know, you put your gamer glasses on, you'll be like, Scrawt, Shoryuken motion is forward, down, and down, forward. What the heck is that, right? And you're right. Shoryuken is forward, down, and down, forward. But this game has shortcuts. This is one of them. It's called the crouch shortcut. Super strong. Very important, especially in the corner. There is another shortcut, and this one is forbidden knowledge. Nobody taught me this one. I had to figure it out on my own, and then everyone was like, oh yeah, everyone knows this. Look at my inputs for the crosscut. I know it looks like a soup, but I'm doing Shoryuken motion into down back. So that gives me crosscut, and that gives me same side DP. I think this is a very good one to learn because it will cover both cases. So if your mental just defaults to doing that as your anti-air, more power to you. I think you will cover every case. It's important in the corner that you practice the different angles. So for example, if I'm here, if you see, I did what is called an auto-corrected Shoryuken. So replaying that by slow motion, I did the crouch shortcut of this, and I did it very late, as you saw. And that gave me the crosscut DP without inputting the crosscut DP. That is something you have to learn too. For example, in the corner, it's very easy for your Shoryuken to whiff. That's why I'm saying you need to be aware. For example, here I tried to crosscut, but I wasn't in the right position. I got hit. I had to move more forward at this range. Practice this range. Use the training mode and use the ground to kind of tell yourself, okay, what happens if I'm here? Oh, look at that. Oh, crouching shortcut missed. Oh, but crosscut hit. Okay, so I know like around this range, I kind of have to do that. This is a little bit more advanced, but I totally recommend it. I definitely tell you, this is gonna make life so much easier down the line when you get to those higher ranks. People love to jump on high rank, so be aware of that. Let's imagine this scenario, right? You put your opponent in the corner and you're going to go for a throw. How do you punish the opponent that is trying to tech while also being aware that the opponent can throw a reversal or mash? If you come from Melty Blood, if you come from anime fighting games, this is so important. Because in those games, usually the option selects work by doing a series of inputs in rapid succession. If you play Street Fighter 6, erase that. So I'm going to use Melty Blood type Lumina as my example. In this game, my option selects are one of two. I have the anti-shield OS or the anti-backdash OS. They both come from the 2A. So if there were to heat, I would use anti-heat OS and I would get my punish. So my point is, in Melty Blood type Lumina, I am still meeting the opponent. I am still using the same timing. I'm still doing the same thing. But the timings don't really differ that much. In Street Fighter, that is amplified. In Street Fighter, think about it as you using and timings, and the timings will give you different things. Your timings are your option select. Why do I mean by that? How do I check an opponent on wake up that I'm trying to throw loop while being aware of wake up match and being aware of wake up DP? I delay my button. So what I'm doing is, instead of just hitting the meaty or something like that, I am just waiting. Because let's say, for example, I'm going for a throw loop. Okay, how do I punish this? First layer, you can shimmy. But shimmy involves disengaging with the opponent, right? Like taking a step back, you can get hit by a little forward, you can get hit by other things, right? What if I wanna maybe keep the pressure, maybe be a little bit more bold with that? Then you have the delay button. So as you can see here, I am beating a couple things, and this also beats backdash. This will punish backdash attempts, throw attempts, will block from DPs, and if they mash, then at least you're gonna block, right? It's not that you're exposing yourself. This is just an example. This game is built by that. So you've seen this, right? Drive rush into strike throw. We all love it, right guys? We all love that. We all love that. Yeah, okay. Look at this. So we got this, right? And if I delay it, I get the hit. So you saw the Ryu player here is delaying the throw by a little bit, right? Which is a very strong strategy in this game. Delay throw is pretty good. And you can see here, they're not necessarily getting hit by my strike, and they're taking my throw. Therefore, by adding some delay to it, I am able to get my hit. You know how people, have all these insane offensive strings? It all has to do with that. It's all about the timings. So this is mashing on plus frames, specifically mashing at +1. Some people will call you a masher, some people will hate you, but guess what? you're here to win it. So obviously, when you're +1, you have advantage in the sense that if I were to place a button like a jab and you're +1, you're always gonna win. We all know that, right? Now the mix-up comes, what happens when there is a +1 situation here on a strike throw? So something like this. Have you noticed that in high level play, almost nobody does a drive rush low like this? And this is still plus, by the way, right? So if they were to match, they would win. So here is why. If my opponent were to jab, that jab would win versus the throw. That is because the jab is 4 frames and my throw is 5 frames, right? But because I'm +1, my throw is 4 frames. In this game, if the strike were to trade with the throw, the strike wins. That's how you kind of tell, okay, I can recognize what are +1 situations in this game, and they're still good. It's good to be plus, obviously, in fighting games, but that doesn't mean that the opponent has to just block and, oh no, I cannot do anything. Mashing is actually not bad if you are predicting a throw. Now, this involves obviously you knowing what the opponent wants to do, because otherwise you can drop a combo like me. This one will make fighting those fireball characters, those Guiles, those Ryus, those Akumas, a tiny bit easier. It'll be a little better. I'm not promising that you're gonna beat them all the time, but I'm giving you an idea to add to your game plan. In this game, you cannot have 2 fireballs on the screen at once. Like, I know it's pretty obvious if you think about it for a second, but you should let fireballs fly out of the screen. Look at the fireball, and I'm gonna try to throw another one. Right? Let's see. You see, I cannot throw 2 fireballs. What does that mean? If you let the fireball pass, you can use that to move forward, take some space from the opponent. You should not always default to just jumping, neutral, jumping, neutral, jumping, neutral, right? Because someone in the known is gonna take your space also. As you can see here on this example, after the dash, the Ryu is at advantage, right? So, despite it all, there is some counterplay to this strategy. Some people might get a Shoryu if they're just like spamming fireballs, so just get like a random like whiff button, and then you can drive rush in and get a whip punish. So that will catch really like low level players, people who are just autopiloting fireballs, but it also will give you an opening. That's helped me so much because I struggle a lot versus those fireball DP characters. But that is something that is gonna help you. So that about does it for this video. This is something I really wanted to make as someone who really struggled with Street Fighter 6 on release. If you want more content like this, please hit me with a follow, hit a big like. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers. Really appreciate it. I will continue with the Street Fighter 6 content, and obviously we'll continue with the Melty blog content. I have a very special video cooking. I'm not sure how much it will take me. I hope to be able to present it to you guys pretty soon. But until then, thank you everyone for the support.